Hello, my quilty friends. It's Stacy of Stacy Creates Stuff, and today I'm bringing you a vlog. Now, the last couple of vlogs that I've done, I have talked about all the quilts I've made over the last time period, and this vlog is about 2.5 weeks since the last, and I only have one finished project, but I have a lot of things in the making. So stick around and see what will be coming in the next few months as far as tutorials and patterns and kits and all that good stuff. Let's get started with some quilting stuff today, as that has been my current focus for the last few months. I tend to kind of go from fiber art to fiber art, and I'm going to be sticking with quilting for a while, but I'm going to interject a few other things in some upcoming vlogs and videos. But let me start off by showing you my finished project. That would be the finished one since the last vlog, and that is my appliqué koi. Actually, I think I have him going this way. You know, he can go in either direction, wherever he wants to go. It's just fine. But this is my appliqué koi, which I did as hand applique. And then I have Sashiko embroidery in 2 of the corners. And I'll show a close up here. I'll insert that. I did some hand stitching, and I used embroidery floss, just a single strand, to do the hand quilting. And then voila, finished project. So gotta love that. And I will be doing this as a class, an in-person class in January in Snow Hill, Maryland, via or through the Vintage Pink and Green Quilt Shop. So information about that will be on their website on how you can sign up and so forth. Again, it's in person, and there will be links in the description below to all the things that I mentioned today. At some point, I may also do a video tutorial on that, but it probably won't be right away. Now, I do have another almost finished project. The quilt top is done, but I haven't gotten it to the quilt machine yet. So I am going to insert that here. The full quilt does not fit on my design wall, so the bottom of it is kind of squished up at the bottom. And there's a few wrinkles in it at the top, just in trying to get it back up onto the design wall to hold it there. Yes, and this is a very modern quilt, very fun, easy to make. You make a lot of strip sets, and then you cut them apart, and you sew them all together, and you have a quilt. So one of those fun, easy to make, could make it in a weekend or 2 type of quilts. So that I just have to get to the quilt machine and get it quilted, kind of really thinking about how do I want to quilt it. So that's what's holding me up right now with that one. But it shall be finished soon. There are kits available from Vintage Pink and Green, which is my favorite quilt shop, and it's super fun to make. So that's a great winter project. Once the holiday hub and bub is all over, then you can sit down and you can accomplish something like right out the gate. Love that. Now, I do have a few other projects that are a little bit more complex than simply sewing strips together and cutting them apart. I am kind of leaning now toward a whole garden theme. The last 6 months, the quilts that I've designed often have this kind of woven, interwoven, weaving theme running through. A lot of the naming of my quilts has that. But now I'm kind of thinking garden. Now, I am not a gardener. As a matter of fact, I have a black thumb. Plants around me do not live long. So the best kind of garden that I can create is one that is made of fabric. And so I have this group of fabrics, which is going to make a super lovely little garden themed quilt. And I'm not going to show you the photo quite yet, because this is going to become a sew along starting in January. I will have much more information about that. If you want to be amongst the first to know and don't want to wait till I make a video about it, then make sure that you sign up for my email list. I'm putting a link in the description below specifically for this sew along. Oh, and I do want to mention that the pattern for the sew along, well, it's going to be more of a guide, will be available on my website soon, and it will be free. The kit, of course, is not free. You will need to get the kit from Vintage Pink and Green or use your own fabrics, but I mean, come on, these are gorgeous. That will be available soon, and then each week in the sew along, I will give you the next block or set of blocks. All those details, I'm working them all out. There'll be a whole video just about the sew along. And again, that will not be starting until January. So you've got some time, think it over, and you can do it at your own pace. So I'm just going to be releasing the new information week by week, but the guide will always be up there, and you will be able to sew it together at your own pace. If you keep up with me, you'll be able to have this done by the spring. So just in time, because it's a lovely quilt called Stars in My Garden. Now, in that same kind of garden theme, I was inspired by this collection of fabric, which I curated from the lovely Batik selection at Vintage Pink and Green. And this one's going to be a simple quilt, not a sew along. There'll be a tutorial. Checkerboards. That's going to be your little hint here. Checkerboards. Now, since we are in the, although not by the calendar, but certainly by the outside temperature, the grips of winter, I also have this lovely selection of fabric, which is going to inspire a more dark and moody kind of quilt. And I'm very excited to work on that as well. So these are just 3 of the many quilts that are swimming in my head. These 3 have all been designed. I'm working on writing the patterns, getting the kits ready. They will all have kits available from Vintage Pink and Green exclusively. And I will be bringing them to you very shortly. And there will be video updates, of course, as these projects get completed or as I work on them. What else is new and exciting in my world? Well, the Gammill has arrived. Yes, the longarm Gammill machine is in pieces in my living room now sewing studio, quilting studio, which is not this room. And I still have my APQS longarm that I will have for a while until I am up and fully running on the Gammill. So as that gets put together, we'll be doing some videos up there as well. So looking forward to that. There's going to definitely be some rearranging of this sewing studio. This room is not big enough to hold a longarm machine. It's much smaller than my living room upstairs, which I'm no longer going to call the living room. It's just going to be called the Quilt Studio. Now, speaking of this room, it's currently a disaster, because if you've seen my last few vlogs, you know that I have been churning out quilts at like a rate of 1 every 1.5 weeks kind of thing. And that's a lot of sewing, and that's a lot of fabric that's just going all over the place. So I have bins with scraps in them. I have bits and pieces of thread and fabric on the floor that I keep trying to sweep up. I have a dog who sheds fur, and that's everywhere as well. And then any other thing that comes in and project, I kind of just keep, well, the stuff keeps piling up. So I really need to do an organization of this room. But that's going to be in a different video. Stay tuned for that. Make sure that you like and subscribe this video so that YouTube will notify you when the next one comes out. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.